Good morning, and thank you for tuning in. We are joined today by Alan Shevela, now our past chair of the Howell Chamber Board of Directors. Welcome, Alan.
Good afternoon, Janelle. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, for taking the time to come in. I know you're a very busy guy.
As we all are.
Yes, so I definitely appreciate you taking the time to be here today. And, I'm excited to talk to you just to give our listeners some insight on what the past year has looked like as your role as the chair of our board of directors, and to share a little bit about yourself and then kind of what we can expect as we move forward. So I'll let you kind of just take it from there, and if you want to just introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background with the chamber. But I know you also have a day job that does pay you. We don't.
Not monetarily, but in other ways, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
But sure, so I'll start off with saying, you mentioned the past year. It's been a challenging year for everybody, myself included. As Janelle mentioned, my full-time job is with Aludyne as their Vice President of Global Supply Chain. We are a Tier 1 automotive company. Anyone that works in the automotive industry, or any industry for that matter, knows the last 2 years have been nothing shy of completely chaotic, with supply chain disruptions, labor disruptions, pretty much everything under the sun. So that's been a joyful challenge. And shifting back to the past year at the chamber, it's been a challenging year, but I think an eye-opening year with how we transition. Janelle and the team at the chamber have done a great job at saying, okay, what has worked in the past as far as a lot of big in-person events may not be the exact way our path forward is, and we've got a great path forward committee looking at how we position ourselves moving forward. And I'm excited about that moving forward. One of the things that the Howell Chamber, I think, does an excellent job of is engaging all community members and making sure we're always an advocate for a great business environment for the Howell community. So that's exciting moving forward. I'll circle back once you asked a little bit about myself. So in my personal life, away from the Howell Chamber, away from my day job, my wife Alicia and I are raising 3 daughters, all in the Howell public school systems. I was sharing with Janelle earlier. My oldest is now driving, so this is her first winter on the roads, and that's another joyful challenge when you've got a teenage driver out there, and they just start driving as we head into the winter months. So, but overall, with the challenges, one thing I really want to highlight about the Howell Chamber of Commerce is just the great people that we have on the Howell Chamber of Commerce, and especially with Janelle's leadership as our president.
Oh, well, thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. And, it's interesting. So you mentioned being busy, and you talked a little bit about your role at Aludyne and being the Vice President of Global Supply Chain. We had earlier this week a discussion we brought in. We actually launched our Greater Livingston County Chamber Alliance series with the economic forecaster, Dr. Elliot Eisenberg, and he talked a little bit about supply chain, just a little bit. And I don't know what you guys are kind of forecasting or foreseeing, but according to his presentation, we should be peaking or just about at the worst of
it. We're hoping this is the worst of it. It's supply chain is always challenging with a global supply chain, but nothing like the past 2 years. And it's not just a global supply chain issue, local supply chain. Wherever any of us go out to buy our groceries, a lot of there was early on trying to keep, in the spirit of keeping a bit humorous, a toilet paper shortage.
Yeah.
Who would ever thought, right?
Exactly.
And it's anywhere from toilet paper to the food you put on your table to if you're thinking about buying a new vehicle or a new house, just really shortages across the board, and trying to navigate through that can be very stressful for all of us.
Oh, absolutely, and then driving prices and lack of an available workforce.
Right.
I mean, it's just been there's been a ton of obstacles, but I think one thing that's just been outstanding about working with you and having you kind of at the helm as our leader through this is just your kind of eternal optimism for problem solving and looking forward and being forward thinking even when sometimes things seem incredibly impossible.
It's something that I always tell people, my goal in life is to have a positive impact on everyone that I come in contact with. And now some people say, well, that sounds really corny. But I wake up every morning and there's so much in our lives that we don't control. We don't control the harsh Michigan winters or the inflation that we're all experiencing right now. But what we do control is our attitude, our approach, and how we treat people. And from my experience, I've been a lot more successful trying to employ a positive attitude, treating people well, engaging people, and getting the most out of people. And I think that's one thing that you and I have worked on really well together here at the Howell Chamber of Commerce is getting the most out of our very limited resources and always engaging our community, still trying to push forward with in-person events when it's safe to do so. And that's one thing that I'm really excited about right now is our annual dinner next week. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, and I agree. It's just, I have to say, sometimes it's been, we would talk and the days would be so challenging, and it was, I think you definitely have the persona of having a positive impact, and even if it was like a Wednesday, well, this is supposed to be a sunny weekend, we're gonna make it through.
I know it's 3 degrees outside, but the sun's out.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that.
So, no, I always appreciate your sunny disposition, and all of that. That really goes a long way, and it has this past year. Just as you have, led the chamber through this past year, and we're excited about what's to come in 2022. One of the things you mentioned was our annual dinner and Citizen of the Year event, which is actually coming up on February 3rd. So it'll be Thursday, and what can you tell us about that? What are you excited for? And I know you've been to the event before, so.
First and foremost, I'm excited that we're face-to-face again.
Yeah.
Last year, I think that you did a great job leading us through the virtual event, where it was pre-recorded, and we still try to be as interactive as possible. But I think we can all agree nothing replaces that face-to-face time. So that's what I'm most excited for. The event is always a great event. It's always very well attended. You've done a great job in leading it the last couple of years, including virtual last year and the previous year in person at Crystal Gardens. It's a great venue, always just very well planned out, and just seeing a lot of the community leaders come together in the same room and really recognizing our community leaders. This is a great community. We're not perfect, but we've got a lot of really great leaders always looking forward and always trying to make sure that it's a great community to work and to live in.
Yeah, and that's really the theme of this year is kind of building back the community and our businesses, and we are really excited to be back in person. And I think that you mentioned just kind of the atmosphere of having all of these civic leaders in the room, and our business owners and our members just there supporting one another and recognizing the accomplishments and the hard work, and everybody has really been putting their best foot forward for the last 2 years, and then some, but it's just a really good opportunity to recognize those that have really stood out, and then of course the big reveal of Citizen of the Year.
That's always exciting. Obviously with Aaron McGregor last year winning the Citizen of the Year award, just a great community leader. I can speak from my personal experience on behalf of Aaron, as all 3 of my daughters, one at the high school, one at Highlander Way Middle School, and one at Challenger Elementary, under his leadership as our superintendent. Just a great leader of the community. So I'm excited to see who will win the award this year. The last several that I've attended, it's always the lead up to the reveal is always very exciting, because the person that received it the previous year, in this case Aaron, will reveal this year's winner. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know, it is fun. I really truly enjoy the legacy of this event, and like you said, it's so nice to have that past Citizen of the Year to come up and give that presentation, and it's just a remarkable way to really honor those in our community that have just given really lifelong efforts of supporting, and Aaron was a wonderful selection last year. Somebody that was incredibly deserving, and
with everything that Aaron has helped this community navigate through with the school system, just Howell has done an amazing job. I can't express enough how happy I am that my 3 kids are in the Howell Public School Systems, because Aaron and all of the leaders at the Howell Public School Systems did everything possible to keep the kids in person, keep them learning. We can all agree that other school systems didn't make the same decisions that Aaron and the Howell Public Schools made, and for that, my family and I are very grateful to Aaron and all of the leaders in the Howell Public School System. So, and last year's event being virtual, the lead up is always there in person. You start to pick up on it, I think, probably midway through the presentation, and just seeing Aaron virtually, and then going, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. So.
I know, that was that was just really fascinating to watch that whole kind of click, because
Right.
I think that was unique to last year's presentation, is even though we were virtual, it was the first time that we got the Citizen of the Year up on camera to capture that reaction live, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then this year we'll be back to in person, and
Yep.
the person will be present with us, and Aaron will talk about that person, and it'll take a few minutes or several minutes to start putting the pieces together as some of the pictures start coming out. So that's the event as a whole is a great event, but that is one of the highlights of the event for sure.
Yeah, so that'll be February 3rd. Registration is currently open. You can register at howell.org, and I believe doors open at 5:30. So
I strongly encourage all of our listeners, if you haven't registered already, please do so. You will not regret it. It'll be a great evening, and it's always entertaining and always great company.
awesome. Well, Alan, we're closing out on your year here as board chair. What was your biggest takeaway from your participation on the board and having this role?
Yeah. There were a lot, but if I had to highlight one, it would be having the opportunity to lead the board as the board chair, and seeing so many great people on the board and in the community come together. One of the events that's ongoing is our Path Forward Committee, and I can't say enough about the people on that Path Forward Committee. Everybody leading that, from Renee to everybody else that's on the Path Forward Committee, really almost I don't want to call it a rebrand, but repositioning ourselves, because we know moving forward our strategies that will be effective to help our local community members will be a little bit different. But I would say the Path Forward Committee, and then just for me personally, having the opportunity to help out the local community. As you know, my wife and I dropped our boat anchor in Howell about 20 years ago. We've been here, we've raised our 3 daughters in this community, and being a part of the community and giving back to the community that I live in. For me, you mentioned my paying job and my non-paying job. This is one of my non-paying jobs, but it has a lot of intrinsic value to me. Being a part of the community and giving back is very valuable to me.
Yeah, it can be really rewarding work. So I appreciate that, and thank you for sharing that with us. And we appreciate all that you do and have done in your role, and we're excited to honor you on the 3rd. So that will also.
And you're not getting rid of me. I'm still going to be a part of
That's
the Hall
right.
of Shame. I'll still be on the board.